Hey there, welcome to the Compared to Who video cast. I'm Heather Creekmore, and I'm really glad that you're watching today because today I have my friend Jami on. Jami Amerine is an author, speaker, wife, and mom. She's actually a mom of 6. Okay, so if you thought your homeschooling this year was hard, you need to get some advice from her. She and her husband Justin live in Houston, and she has a master's degree in education, counseling, and human development. And she and her husband Justin are advocates for foster care and adoption. She writes at Sacred Ground Sticky Floors. I'm sure you've probably been there or seen it. And she has a brand new book, just came out a couple days ago, on body image. And I wanted you to know all about it. So Jami, welcome to the Compared to Who show.
Thanks, Heather. Thank you for having me.
So we actually did a podcast a couple months ago on this, and the video side of it did not work at all. And it was still a couple months before your book released. So I thought, you know what, let's come back and let's do something just for video so you can tell everyone all about this great new book you have called Well Girl. So in a nutshell, how would you describe this book? What could I expect from getting this book?
Well, I think the biggest message in it is that you have in you, Christ in you, the hope of glory, the greatest mystery, the best personal trainer, dietitian, counselor, friend. He's it. There's plenty of gods that we can put before him, but he's it. And he created you. He knows you. He knows what you like. He knows what you don't like. He knows how you're built. He knows what's wrong with you. He knows what's right with you. And he is there for all of it.
Yep, that's awesome.
That would be my, I guess, mini synopsis of it.
Yeah, I love that.
It doesn't tell you how many laps to take around the track or how many carrots to eat or any of that. It's basically, the first section is called Under My Skin, and the second section is called Full Frontal Freedom. And so it's definitely a look from the inside out and inviting him into all the different things that make us women and make us tick and hold us back and can push us forward in all of our wellness pursuits, which is overall the totality of who we are, not just how we look.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how, so you were talking about from the inside out, which, you know, I'm a big advocate. Your body image issues don't have anything to do with what your body looks like. You can watch the models and the Carrie Underwoods of this world complain about their body image, and you can think it's just your problem, not their problem, but everyone experiences it maybe in a slightly different way, but I think it's the same lies that we hear, and it doesn't matter what the shell of a body looks like. So I do love how your book is really focused on making it personal, right? And you go really personal. You share a lot of your deep stuff, which I love, and I know my viewers love that too. So why write a book on body image, the secret stuff that no one wants to talk about? Why do that, Jami?
It was the purging of, I mean, I think my publicist said, if you had to wrap this up just like a one-liner, what would it be? And I said, I can't believe I said this out loud, but I'm so glad I did. And then now that it's being read, that's, you know, message after message. Oh my gosh, were you in my head? And I think that was the hardest part of writing it is, you know, people are going to read this and go, oh my gosh, she's lost her mind. But I haven't heard that as much as I've heard, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one that thought or felt that way. And which I guess is affirming for me, but at the same time, it's sad because it's just such a huge burden to carry to truly believe that you're just not okay. And that's not what he says about us. And we say that, but then, you know, our subconscious is going, but the truth is, I know what size pants you are. I saw that number on the scale. I know what you ate. I know what you did. I know what you didn't do. Oh, look at her. Why aren't you more like that? And that's the voice that I think drowns out the gentle, loving voice of a father that wants to guide and protect and feed and clothe us and take us onto these great things, these that he had planned for us. And, I've said this many times in the last few months, but the world only has more power than God. When you believe, it has more power than God.
That's true. That's
So if he's the only answer, the plan A, the one that has the whole truth and is for you and with you, you're unstoppable.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But it's hard because we have to deal with reality.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm remembering back to my decades of struggling with body image. And I mean, and when I say I'm recovered from my struggle, I normally add the disclaimer that we're all still tempted to struggle, right? But now I know what to do with the temptation. But I remember thinking, I know the Jesus answer. Thank you for that. Now give me the other answer. like give me what'll really help me feel better. And everywhere I turned to look for that, I tried all the things and it didn't work. And so I love what you're saying there. It's like, no, the truth is there's a Jesus answer. You just have to believe it. Right. Because if you believe the world's answer, then, you're deciding not to believe the Jesus answer.
It's quick results and fill me up and make it okay now. Which, of course, just flashes in my mind, the golden calf, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Well, I guess we'll just do it ourselves and we'll build this golden calf. Yep. And we do it, with everything. And it's futile and it's exhaustive. And he is exactly who he says he is. But, like you and I were talking before we started, and you have to look at, the way that things are going on around us and book sales and promotion and all those other things. And it's like, you have to keep going back and going back and going back and going, okay, I'm still believing, I'm still here, feed me, clothe me, lift me up, carry me on to the next thing. And he does. But we get caught up in time, which I talk about in the book, and all the concrete, and miss out on the opportunities for him to go, I got you.
Well, Jami, I love how one of the major emphases, that's a hard word to say, in your book is overall like total body wellness. Because I think sometimes, I know I'm guilty, we think about wellness just in terms of physical wellness, but that's not what it's about. And you talk about what you've observed personally through the decades of your struggle with this issue on that front. So can you just, tell me a little bit about what your journey was, how your relationship with your body didn't always match up with your body size? Would you?
Well, yeah. I think the biggest observation I made while writing this book was that I felt the same way about myself, and every aspect of myself, my motherhood, my career, all of it, no matter what size I was, I still had the same doubts and insecurities. And it was like, it was never enough. It was never enough. It was something that I was tormented by all the time, which I believe is like a golden calf. It was the belly button digging. I'm awful. I'm horrible. I fail. I can't get it right mentality. And it was that way when I was running marathons, and it was that way when I was flat on my back. It was always that way. And once you're free indeed. So once you're in line with, and it's not that stuff doesn't come up, and it's just the way it is. Have to go to the doctor's office or try on pants or anything else. But when you're at peace with who you are in Christ, and he's telling you, this is the truth of what I see, this is what I have in store for you, this is where we're headed, this is where we're going, and your whole focus is on that truth. The other stuff is going to fall in line exactly where it's supposed to be, and it's okay. And I have heard from several readers already that have read the book that have said, I didn't think I was going to need this. I pre-ordered it, but I didn't think I was going to need it because I just lost 75 pounds. And then, in the first 2 chapters are sobbing hysterically because it's not just because it's I see this too. Like, if you lost an arm in an accident, would you still have some of the other struggles that you had before? what struggles are we dealing with? Are we just dealing with the ones that we can see, touch, taste, and smell, and then stifling the other ones and trying to fix stuff that isn't ours to be fixed, because He alone is our healer? And it really is. I'm so amazed by what He's shown me in that. And I wasn't okay in any of those spaces. And it was because I was just focused on what was wrong and how I could fix it, how I was going to do this thing. And then once I did that right, then I deal with Him. And then maybe He'd like me, and, things would go better. And the truth is, once you are in the space where you're just one-on-one with Him, and He's, whether or not He guides you to a specific eating plan or exercise plan, or, this has nothing to do with it. What he has to do with you, directly for you and with you, is everything. It just makes you take a deep breath and go, I am cared for. I am whole. I walk in the favor of the Lord. He is for me and He is with me. And nothing can come against that. But if we believe something can, or we try and do that, that is, and I think I said, sorry, I think I've said this already, but again, those outside forces only have more power than Him when we believe they have more power than Him.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and I just think about how, just my personal story, and it sounds like from what I've read in your book, kind of yours too. I look back at the pictures of the thinner aerobics instructor me, and it was cool to see that you were an aerobics instructor too. Virtual high five for the former aerobics instructor club. But I thought being an aerobics instructor would solve it, right? But
exactly.
I look at those pictures and I think that person was in bondage. I mean, that was not freedom. It just, so it's an interesting thing that, I might have looked well on the outside, but I was not well, and not living loved either. I was so insecure. And now I look at those pictures and I'm like, what was I insecure about?
Right. I know. Yeah. There's that.
Boy, yeah. Wish I had that body again. And then, you have to fight with all of that. Like, well, no, I don't want to think that way. All that stuff.
I know. But it's also, how many of us have said that very thing? I thought I was fat then, and oh my gosh, look at what is wrong with me? Somebody get me a T-bone. And but the reality is we're going to see what we believe. As a man thinketh, so he is. So it really doesn't matter. If you think about it, it wouldn't matter if you were in a place of peace and you did get that body back from 20 years ago or whatever. If you still didn't believe that that's who you were, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's true. Did you see that movie, I Feel Pretty?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
So I shouldn't admit this, but I wrote like a scathing critique of it before I saw it. Because I knew the concepts and I thought, I don't like where this is going. And then I watched it, and it's Amy Schumer's. There's like filth. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. But it was interesting because the concept really was that it's how you feel. It's not actually what you look like. It's, how you act. And, they were making a totally, secular Hollywood case that is not what you or I are saying, I'm sure. But it was still interesting to watch and think, okay, from a Christian perspective, like we should feel that way. Like we should be able to do that no matter what the outside looks like. So it was kind of cool from that standpoint. But our confidence does not come from what the number on the scale says, what the tag and the clothing says. It comes from the love of God. And you spend a lot of time in your book on this. So how does knowing and understanding how loved we are, how does that help our body image?
Well, so I feel like the mind is the place where we really lose it. So with our, conscious mind, we're saying, I believe in Jesus. I believe I am daughter. I'm these things. But this is all the stuff that's wrong with me. And so the subconscious, because its job is to keep us in the know and to keep us in our reality and keep us alive, is going to remind you, you failed at that before, why bother again? You've screwed up this before, you've messed up this before. And it's reminding you because it plays off of history. And the longer that you've told yourself that you're not worthy, that you're disgusting, that you're too fat, too thin, too whatever, that's what the subconscious is going to keep telling you. Don't forget who you are. Yeah. So you have to say it. And you have to say it to yourself in the mirror so that you can see it. So your subconscious goes, oh, she's talking to her. And I am the daughter of the Most High. I am beautiful. I am talented. I am capable. I am worthy. I am abundance. I am. And some of those are trigger words within the church that are like, oh, you're not supposed to say those things about yourself. You can say whatever he says is true of you. And he says that that's who you are, or else he wouldn't have died for you. And my favorite part of that is that as a man thinketh, so he is. And that's just the facts. He said it. As a man thinketh, so he is. So if we're thinking, even in our subconscious, we're thinking those things, that's what we project. And who do we catch? What men do we fish for when we're like, I'm saved and I'm the worst. I'm so gross. I'm so disgusting. I'm so, you can't have that. It's double talk, and it does not serve his hands and feet well.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about even just from the perspective of what we show our daughters, well, and our sons too, to some extent, because they learn what is beautiful from, I think, what we teach them. But I remember when my daughter was really young, she felt like 2 or 3, she was like, Mommy, why do you always frown at yourself in the mirror? And I was like, I don't frown in the mirror. It's like, you have to make a funny face when you put on mascara. And I'm like giving her all these excuses. And I'm thinking, oh, she's right. Like, I think we just don't even recognize like simple things like our facial expressions and how they give away what we're actually thinking when we do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and we're not, we're not supposed to be arrogant, of course, but why wouldn't we be proud? And when you think about a cardinal or a blue jay, are they hiding because they're bright? No, that's who they are.
Yeah.
That's what they're created to be.
We can be confident in who Christ made us to be. I love that. Well, so this whole COVID season has been really interesting because there's been a couple different camps. I think there's been the camps of like, I can't do anything. And then the camps of like, this is the perfect time to, start a new diet and exercise program. And I'm going to meet all of my goals, which is, I don't know, a lot, I think. But what would you encourage a woman to consider before she signs up for that next program, be it the next weight loss program, or then, maybe she's going to get back in the gym if the gym's open again? What would you encourage a woman to consider before doing that?
To ask God. Everything is permissible. Is this beneficial? Is this truly what you have in mind for me? And then write out those things. Is this, is this real food? Is this real nourishment? Is this real true exercise that I'm going to enjoy that's not taking me away from something that you have better planned for me? And then wait for that instant voice, not the argumentative, hateful, condemning voice, but the first voice that goes, yeah, go ahead, or yeah, let's try this. But most of the time, I think we just want a quick fix and the right answer up front. Tell me now. I want to know right now. And so, that's my biggest thing in the book. Ask him.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Well, and
what is for me? Is this for me?
Well, and that loops back to the whole concept of it being individual, that we're on an individual journey, because I think so many times we're like, oh, well, my friend such and such did keto and she lost all this weight, and so now I need to be keto. Or my friend started doing CrossFit and that worked out really awesome for her, and I did one CrossFit workout and it collapsed. But it's so individual, right?
Right. And then too, we project that onto each other, like, well, it worked for me, why wouldn't it work for you? Okay, well, maybe because I'm chronically ill, or because I have a newborn, or because I can't drink whey, or, and I say this about Sam and Charlie. So Sam is allergic to walnuts, and he does not like the texture of apples. He loves mashed potatoes. Charlie can eat carrots and apples till the cows come home, and he loves nuts, but he gags if you put mashed potatoes near him. He can't stand the texture. And so to force that as their mother is nearly cruel, and it's of no benefit. It doesn't make them like it anymore. And in Sam's case, if I fed him walnuts just because I wanted him to have walnuts because they're high in omega-3s, he'd have to have a shot of Benadryl or whatever, because it's not for him. It does have no benefit for him. So if I know that about my children, and it says in scripture that he's a better parent than me, I would expect that I could call you and go, okay, here's what you have. Hey, Heather, here's what you need to eat, and here's how you need to work out. Here, I have the answer for you. Let me be your, savant or whatever. Makes no sense. It's not about me. It's about you and your Father who knows you, who made you. Yeah. And it's actually very exciting and freeing. And, the world whispers, how do you get the message out? And how do you do this? And how do you do this? And I think I said to you before I got started, I have to just go, I can't. This has to be God's thing. And to the same end, there's a lot of freedom in that part of it, because it is not about me. It's not about, I wrote it and I said things that were true of my journey that I think a lot of women have experienced. But the truth is, I can't fix you. I can barely fix me, but he can. Yeah. So if that's the good news, if that's the news that he intended us to hear, he can solve this. We've just been trying to solve it and then get back to him. Yeah.
That's it. That's the soundbite, Jami. How, but seriously, I know women watching today, maybe feeling a prick of conviction in a good, healthy, way, but how many of us have gone to the next thing because it worked for a friend, or because we hoped it would work for us, or because it was only 4 easy payments of $19.95 and we had a credit card handy, thinking that was going to fix it. And God's standing there hey, I'm willing to help you out. I love you. I know how I made you.
Saying that you have to, yeah. I'm not saying you have to stay where you are if you're uncomfortable and unhealthy, or you really want to see change. But he knows that. Yeah. And he can also bring you to a place where you're okay while the work is going on. And I think that's one of the biggest catches. You want instant results. You want quick results. You want to look and feel different. Exude this Jesus with such favor and truth. And I say this all the time. It makes my cheeks hurt because from smiling. And I know that that's not from me. It's from him. And, people email me, ask me what color my lipstick is, or, your skin's so glowy. And I think, okay, good, it's glowy. Yeah, that's wonderful, because I believe that glow comes from him. I really do. And because you and I are friends, so that some of the struggles that I have right now and some of the burdens and stuff like that, I still believe that there's a piece of him that shines through in me. And I'm not afraid to say that true beauty and joy and a beaming smile and light in your eyes, you can't fake that. Yeah. No matter what size you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And
if you like him.
Yeah. And when you think about the people that you think of as beautiful, it's because of those traits radiating out of them. It's because you can see the Jesus in them. That's what makes them beautiful. And then you can think of someone.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, but think about someone, I don't know, I always use the Miley Cyrus or Katy Perry example, because I think that those women are empirically, according to Hollywood standards, they're beautiful. They've got the symmetry and the body or whatever, but the way they act, you're just kind of ugh. It's not attractive. And so it's funny. I think that's recognizable. I think most women, watching today are probably like, you can think of your friends that you think of as beautiful because they have that light radiating out of them. And then others where, might know a woman who like meets Hollywood standard of beauty, but you're like, oh, I don't really like to spend time with her, because she doesn't act beautiful. She's not loving. She's not fun to be around, and, all those things. So
just mean, just not a nice person.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Okay, well, Jami, the book is, I'm going to butcher your subtitle, so you're going to have to help me out. It's Well Girl, but what's your subtitle?
An Inside Out Journey to Wellness.
Those subtitles, they're killer. So Well Girl, an inside out journey to wellness. It's available everywhere books are sold. It just came out a couple days ago. So you need to grab your copy quick and then leave Jami a great review after you read it. And then they can connect with you on your website at sacredgroundssticky-floors.com, or you have a Facebook community, Sacred Ground Sticky Floors, as well. Any last words, anything we should know before we go grab your book?
Oh, you can get it on audio, and I read it, so there's that.
Ooh, that sounds fun. There's a lot of people that'll like that. That's great to know. So you can get the audiobook. Awesome. Awesome. I'd love to do that. My publisher doesn't do audiobooks. I'm trying to talk them into it, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jami.
People to listen to, but
no.
Nobody likes their own voice.
It does take some getting used to, for sure. Like, who is that? For me, it's like, who is that mouse talking? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, Jami, thank you so much. I'm excited about your new book on body image, and I pray that it blesses lots and lots of women. And if you're watching today, go grab this book. You're going to love it, and tell a friend about it. Well, that's all for today's show. Thanks, Jami, for being here, and thank you for watching. Catch us on the next podcast. Hope something in today's episode has helped you stop comparing and start living. Bye-bye.
Amen. Bye.
Okay. Oops. I did not hit stop recording.